Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and I have a big smile on my face, folks, because, man, gaming, right? Hashtag gaming. We have a lot to get into. Ed Boon, one of my favorite people in the industry, keeps breaking Mr. Boomstick's heart, but then maybe he's not. Maybe he's just being the tease that he is, because he put something out on the socials yesterday that had me smiling from ear to ear, but with a bit of a smirk because I don't trust him. We're also going to get into, of course, Resident Evil 4 Remake sitting at a current 93 meta on PlayStation 5, a 91 meta on Xbox, but it's a little bit disturbing when you go to Metacritic, folks, and you look at the disparity that is the review process. And I checked this morning. As of this morning, Metacritic for Resident Evil 4 Remake for PlayStation 5 has 108 reviews. That's awesome, right? We know that PlayStation has the marketing rights with Capcom for Resident Evil 4, smart on Sony. But this is where it gets a little interesting, folks. And it goes to show you that I don't know who is to actually blame for this. The Xbox Series X version, which has been confirmed to run actually better than the PlayStation 5 version, only has 18 reviews. So 18 versus 108. I don't know. I mean, I just think that there is something going on, and I kind of wonder when this is going to change, because, back in the days, you would see something like an EGM, and they would say reviewed on such and such, but also played. They played both versions, but the reviews on this version. 102 versus 18. This is. It's definitely concerning. I don't want to go down a dark path and start screaming with the tinfoil hat that it's some sort of conspiracy against Xbox. But I'm just curious, because HiFi RUSH, that was an exclusive, had very minimal reviews from the gaming journalistic community, when if it would have been a Sony exclusive, it would have probably had 108 reviews. All raving from the stars, that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But listen, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into several things. But before we do, folks, we got to introduce Web Dave wearing a power orange shirt. What's going on, brother? Good morning. Good afternoon. How the heck are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just supporting the Flash movie coming out, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, listen, it looks good. I mean, I really like the actor. What the hell's his name? He keeps getting in trouble. And that kid is
he does.
I watched him when he first started out. Like his first film that I saw him on was Wallflowers, which was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And I loved that kid. He just needs some help. He just needs some guidance.
Michael Keaton's back. Michael Keaton, baby.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, OG Batman. I love it. I love it. But listen, great show yesterday. You had two fantastic guests. Good stuff as always. Are we starting to see the live viewership increase?
It's getting there. It's getting there. I know it's going to skyrocket once we have you on as a guest.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm a small fry in a big thing, but I appreciate the compliment, brother. Thank you so much for that. Speaking of international, the Xbox International representative, known as the Crazy Lou Gaming, you had something you did the other day that I was waiting for. That I didn't wait long enough to get. You were doing something about wrestling, and it was recording. I didn't know what happened, brother. I got sidetracked and never went back to it. How are you, man? Good morning.
Oh, man, I'm doing pretty fantastic, man. Super happy about today. We got lots of things to talk about. It's pretty interesting what you bring up with Metacritic, because, hey, it's interesting that for every time PlayStation gets those reviews, there are a bunch of them. But with HiFi RUSH, like you were saying, there was only 54 reviews on Xbox. That's insane. So, yeah.
Well, actually, now again, I maybe it has changed. Okay, so maybe I have...
I searched for it right now. It's 54.
Oh, you did?
critic
Okay, so
reviews.
it did change because when I checked or very early this morning, you guys saw I was up past 1 doing working on the show.
No, I'm
It had
talking about HiFi RUSH, not Resident Evil though.
okay,
Only
yeah.
got 54 critic reviews, and yet you get on the PlayStation side, they get more critic reviews. So yeah, you're right about that.
Look, here's the thing. You know, you take Metacritic for what you personally feel that it's worth, right? To me, it's just a site. I don't use their judgment or other people's judgments on the games that I play. I'm old enough. I've been playing games long enough that I don't need a magazine to tell me X game. Now, I might see a game that wasn't on my radar. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I'll go and I'll do my own research. I don't buy games based on someone else's opinion. I make my own because obviously I'm not going to waste money. But that's a fantastic point. I'm glad that you actually said that because I was going to look it up. 54 reviews for HiFi RUSH, one of the finest games released in 2023, an Xbox exclusive. So I just have to ask, and this is we're gonna get into it, like really deep in a minute. How is it that if there's 108 or 110 or 115 or even 130 sites that will review a Sony game, and we only see less than half of that review an Xbox game? It really does bring for me anyway, brings more questions than it does answers. But we'll travel down that path momentarily. Fuzzy Belvedere, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Yeah, it sucks that Xbox doesn't get the attention as far as when it comes to gaming reviews or have a number of sites. But then again, a lot of the media that explains what we see sometimes as the media bias, where a lot of the sites are geared towards PlayStation. But we'll get into that as well as a bunch of other things. But so glad to be here with you guys, and yeah, let's do this.
Well, you know what? Let's open up with what happened yesterday on the socials. Now, look, Mortal Kombat, which you're going to see on the back end of the show, is a phenomenal IP. The movies haven't been so good as of late. Believe it or not, my favorite one is the original OG one. It was fantastic, and everything after that hasn't really been so good. But I'm going to say this. Ed Boon, who has been for years teasing a Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct. You've heard me talk about this before. You've heard me talk about having Noob Sabot, as he's known on the socials, and the team over at NetherRealm Studios. Well, they seem, to me anyway, the best place for a reintroduction to Killer Instinct, right? Well, he did something yesterday, as Ed Boon has been known to do, and he put out a tweet. Then again, obviously I follow him and I have all his tweets. I'm not a stalker of Noob Sabot, but because I'm such a fan of Mortal Kombat, I kind of like when he puts out these teasers because it's fun, right? He knows it's fun. He does it to poke the bear, so to speak. And it was a simple tweet. And he simply said this, folks: which fighting game would you most, in all caps, want to see come back with a brand new version? And he listed Dead or Alive, Killer Instinct, Marvel vs. Capcom, or Virtual Fighter. Now, Dead or Alive, let me go in the order of the lowest picked. Virtual Fighter is at 6.6%, which I love. Virtual Fighter. I'll never forget when I brought home my Sega Saturn and I was playing what was in the arcades. It was just bonkers, right? Coming in second place, or third place, I should say, was Dead or Alive. Now, Dead or Alive on the Xbox 360 days, especially on the Xbox One days, was phenomenal. They had the big bouncy technology that they overused. It was hilarious. That came in at 11.9%. Coming in third, which is heartbreaking and disappointing for me personally, is Killer Instinct at 29.2%. Number one, of course, is Capcom's Marvel vs. Capcom at 52.3%. Now, this may not be anything to you. If you're not invested in Mortal Kombat NetherRealm Studios or the IP for Killer Instinct, maybe the story doesn't mean nothing to you. It warms my heart, and I'm going to tell you why. In a tweet from February 25th, 2022, and I said tweet, it's actually an article. Now, I want to make sure this is MortalKombatOnline.com. This was written by Mick Lucifer. What a last name. And he actually has, and I did a story about this on one of last year's podcasts. I might have even done 2 or 3 because, well, when you're talking Ed Boon, I get excited because, you know, Killer Instinct needs a reboot, and God damn it, why shouldn't they be the ones to do it? Okay, well, this is what Ed Boon had to say, and just listen to the words because it's very interesting. And when he's asked what is this was a Game Informer interview where it was done in Las Vegas, I believe, and they asked Ed Boon specifically, what do you got going on that's not Mortal Kombat? So he says this, folks. I can say that for 10 years, we were releasing Mortal Kombat and Injustice. Mortal Kombat and Injustice. When we broke that pattern, there was a lot of speculation of what we would be doing next. I can tell you there's a reason for it. And when we announced our next game, it'll make a lot more sense. Though at this point, I'll get in a lot of trouble if I say anything more. I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting nerd goosebumps from the top of my head all the way down because I'm such a big Killer Instinct fan, folks. I was there when it launched into the arcades. I played it first in the Nathan's Arcade, which is no longer there, in Yonkers, in Central Avenue, Yonkers. And again, it's one of those games for me as a gamer that I look back and I remember going to Toys R Us to get the game on the Super Nintendo. Could you imagine? And it was a black cartridge. Oh my God, so many memories with that game. My favorite character, as you should know, is in fact Saberwolf. I'm a huge fan of Lycans and Werewolves, same thing. Listen, Dave, I'm going to go to you first on this. This is, again, you know, I've always subscribed to where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's Ed Boon, there may be a new fighting game franchise. And you know, this is again, I wouldn't be talking about this morning if he didn't put that tweet out. Now, Dave, for context,
yeah,
in 2015, and we're going back, you know, quite a few years, he put out a tweet with no context, and he said, would love to do a Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instincts, but it would have to be an exclusive. He put that out on the socials. You can go look, literally write that in wherever your browser is, and they'll bring up that tweet. What's interesting is way back then, Dave, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox at the time, said, "I love that idea," end quote. Now, it again, sometimes these things take, you know, years and years to translate into availability for the team. What are your thoughts on this? Is this just another Ed Boon tease at Poke at the Bear?
I am hoping, like you, that this is just a nice little tease they're throwing out there. Wouldn't this be amazing to get announced at E3 or during that show coming up? You know, just saying, that's going to be a good day for Xbox. All that showcase they're going to have, plus the Starfield showcase, and man, if they announced that, oh my gosh, I know you'd be Cloud9.
You know what? I'm going to throw something out there to the ether. Yeah. Like, if you don't ask the universe, sometimes the universe doesn't even bother answering the question. So I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to say this. Phil Spencer, I know you're listening, brother. I know you listen to the show. So if you are going to announce such a thing, I won't even charge you. Just get me into the show. I'll make the announcement along with Ed Boon. Bring me up there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
Now, isn't he gonna have you come on
and announce
Banjo-Kazooie remake? I'm just saying.
You know what?
That would be
I do that
nice.
too. Like I said, no, listen, you don't got to give me a plushie. It's fine. I'll do it for free.
You're already going to be at E3 anyway, right? So there you go.
We're going to be at E3. Yes, we're going to be on the
Exactly.
floor covering it. Hopefully, we'll be covering it from inside of E3. I'm still waiting for Reed Pop to give me my my accreditation for the channel. Hopefully that comes through. We're going to be there one way or another. But it's funny. I'd love to see that happen. But anything else you'd like to add to the conversations, Dave?
I just say that it from the original arcade, which I absolutely loved and played, and man, burned the hell out of it. And once I found out about the Orchid secret move, I was like, oh, we played for hours to get that to work. And once we got that mastered, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Her fatality, which is taking off her top and the other characters just passing out, is so damn funny.
Yeah, that's you know what, dude? It's things like that, because like back in the days, back in the the 90s, that was like the thing, right? I don't know if that would be considered politically correct nowadays, obviously, but
yeah, they didn't have it. They removed that from the home console version.
Of course they did. Yes, so, yeah. Nintendo wouldn't have none of that.
Exactly. But no, I'm right there with you, man. I love all the characters and design. The two arcade machines were fantastic. The home, that they did back for the Xbox One was really good. The game when it released, but it could 60 frames, smooth flowing animation. Oh my god, can you just imagine how badass that would be today with the character creations? Just there's so much they could do with it and just make it look so amazing with the current technology. Dude, next gen, let's do it. Let's bring it. I hope they do. Hope they're listening. They say they want to. Let's hope they've got the team to do it now.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I want to bring in Crazy Lou to this next piece of the conversation. It's funny. There are a lot of people now. We've heard Phil Spencer specifically talk about it, and he said that him and the team are constantly talking about Killer Instinct, specifically Matt Booty. And they bring it up all the time. They know that the fans want it. I'm sure that if they listen to the show, and I don't know if Phil watches the show. I'm just, BSing there. I know people at Xbox do. I don't know if Phil Spencer does, but if he does, that's pretty awesome. But they talk about it all the time. And one of the reasons, and it's a valid reason, that Phil Spencer says we don't have a sequel to Killer Instinct is the two original teams. One was purchased by Amazon and then dissolved. And the other team that picked up the second half of it, they were developing their own game. So there's no one to develop it. But what's interesting and why I have the hope that maybe all these last couple of years Ed Boon has been teasing, and maybe it will come to fruition, like Dave said at E3, is because we all know, folks, third-party development can work on first-party games. Oh, I don't know, because two of them are currently doing that, and they're owned by Embracer Group. Crystal Dynamics, right? They're working on a game, right? And so is Eidos Montreal. Perfect Dark is being done by Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal is helping the team with Fable, and they're helping Playground Games bring that game to fruition. So if that can happen there, money had to transfer. Bags had to be dropped off, right? Well, WB, not in the greatest of financial positions right now. It makes sense, especially maybe not at this particular moment, because they're doing better, right? But at the time that this deal could have been made, they were hurting pretty bad. Microsoft could have easily dropped the bag off and said, hey, listen, we know that Injustice 3 isn't happening. Now, that's not happening because they don't have the talent. That's not happening because there's a lot of stuff going on with DC proper. So that's not happening, or at least it's not happening anytime soon. We know that they're working on Mortal Kombat because he confirmed that they are. But that team is big. And who's to say that they can't work on two projects at the same time? What are your thoughts on this?
Oh man, I think something's gonna happen though, because those vibes and everything you're getting, I think I'm getting the same thing. I think sooner or later we're gonna get a probably huge announcement. And what I'm thinking is that probably this E3, I'm speculating now, right? Probably this E3 we will get that Mortal Kombat announcement, and we'll probably get that Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct announcement. And also, this is me speculating, we'll probably get a bigger announcement by Phil Spencer saying, on stage, hey, we acquired NetherRealm. That would be a pretty awesome announcement. We'll probably get all that stuff right then and there. Because, hey, if he dropped this thing, when was it? Was it a month ago? Was it that he put it on Twitter? The Mortal Kombat.
The one I just read? He did that yesterday.
No, the Mortal that he announced Mortal Kombat finally is
coming. Oh, yeah, that's about a month ago. Yeah,
that's about like a month ago. Yeah. So if he announced that, and 10 years ago it was talking about Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct, and Phil Spencer said, "Love the idea." Hey, maybe there is something going on behind the scenes we don't know about. Maybe something that it is gonna shadow drop pretty soon, like HiFi did. Because that's pretty much like a passion project. If Ed Boon said that, that's pretty much like a passion project he wants to do. So it could be a shadow drop. We might not know till we see it on E3, because I'm thinking that E3, they're going to announce something. I have that feeling too, Boom. I have that feeling, and it's going to come out pretty soon.
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be there with Kay Asante filming, and if that happens and I'm in the building, they're going to show me passing out. Honestly, like on the floor, rolling around. Like, honestly, listen, before I bring in Fuzzy, let me catch up on the super chats. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat, and this would be a game. He says, we need Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct and Capcom versus Marvel in the same game. Dude, you'd break the internet if that happened for $70. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'd buy it for $140 because I'd get all those games in one game. Torino Johnson. Hey, what's up, Torino? Thanks so much for dropping by. He drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, just wanted to send support. Love your shows, Boom. That is awesome. I appreciate the super chat, but the commentary is phenomenal. I'm so thrilled that the content that my wife and I put out, you're enjoying, because that's why we do it, right? That's exactly why we do it. Jacob Novick, generous friend of the program, who's been a channel member for 2 months, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, we need a mascot brawler. Dude, you're gonna make me lose my way in this podcast live on the air. He says, since Xbox soon owns Call of Duty, put Captain Price in the game. We need Banjo. Xbox may release their own store, their own app store in March. Yeah, we got some stuff we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Specifically, I don't know who played the Diablo 4 beta over the weekend. Mrs. Boom and I did. I gotta be honest with you folks. It's a preview because we're talking about it tomorrow. We didn't like it. We did not like it. I know that there's everyone. I kept seeing post after post. Jez talked about it. Pong So talked about it. Mav and everyone on that crew, they're loving it. We did not like it at all. Maybe because they moved it from, to me, like I'm a champ. Josie and I, my wife, Mrs. Boom, we're Baldur's Gate Interplay fans. Not the PC Baldur's Gate. We're champions of Norath on the PlayStation 2. We played and really quite enjoyed Diablo 3. We felt Diablo 4 was it felt too PC-like. The screen was cluttered. It was very dark. Again, if it's in Game Pass, we'll give it another college effort, if you will. But we went right back to playing Baldur's Gate 2. We're going to run through it again because we love that. But we'll get into that tomorrow. I have quite a few topics, and tomorrow's going to be a fun show. But Fuzzy, look, Maximilian Dude. If you don't know who this guy is, well, then you're just not alive, because he is one of the foremost experts when it comes to fighting. His channel is, I think he has over 1 million. It may be 2 million at this point. I love him. He's animated. He's funny AF. Go and subscribe him. I would love to get him on the show. This is way too small of a show for Maximilian Dude, but maybe one day, right? He brought back a couple of years ago the hashtag Bring Back KI, and it took off. And he's a huge fan of it. He's probably really good at it as well. When you see the love, anytime Killer Instinct is mentioned, it riles up the Xbox fan base. Like, it just sets everybody on fire, because it's a pretty freaking cool IP, right? Mm-hmm. And more so, we saw that they tangled with guest characters from other franchises, specifically Gears. You had, you know, the Arbiter in there from Halo.
Mhm.
You had the one of the Battletoads was in there. So this, if done correctly and put into the hands of expertise fighting game creators in NetherRealm Studios, who for the most part have some of the most iconic guest characters in gaming, right? They had Alien, they had Predator, Freddy, Leatherface, Jason. I mean, they've Rambo, they've had them all. It kind of seems like it's just a perfect fitting glove, right? I mean, what are your thoughts on the again, he didn't specifically only single out Killer Instinct, but god damn it, he mentioned it again. And whenever he does, I get excited.
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like there's a lot of, you know, they always say there's smoke where there's fire type of deal. There's a lot of smoke every time he brings up Killer Instinct. And I always try to do the hashtag Killer Combat, like the Killer Instinct Mortal Kombat crossover. But I hope there's something to it where, yeah, we get this big surprise at E3, but on the choices that he gave, I told him I would like to see all of the above get a reboot, but mainly leaning towards Killer Instinct. And while Marvel versus Capcom was pretty good, I would actually prefer SNK versus Capcom, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, Killer Instinct, especially like someone in the chat was mentioning before, we need basically a hero brawler kind of thing, not necessarily like a Smash Brothers type of deal, but like Killer Instinct with characters from, you know, Wolfenstein and from Doom and from, you know, all the IPs that are now under the Xbox and Microsoft gaming portfolio. And if ABK comes through, there's even more to add to that. So I would love for there to be a surprise announcement, but yeah, there's got to be something. Like, he almost seems to the point, and he's a fan of Killer Instinct himself, so it almost seems like he's either hinting, hey, Phil, just give me that call. I've already got this thing ready to show you, type of deal, where it sounds like it's something that if up to him, he would already have been working on it type of deal, and it would just be a matter of, getting it on the console. But Killer Instinct needs a reboot or basically it just needs a return to the Xbox platform. Updated graphics, updated characters from various IPs that Xbox owns, and I think at that point it would ease the sting from Street Fighter V being a PS5 or PS4 exclusive type of deal. But KI definitely needs either NetherRealm, and I know Maximilian had even hinted like Bandai Namco and Arc System could do something. And
listen, I have more evidence, folks, if I needed to make my case to you that Ed Boon is selling something, and he ain't really selling it until yet. First of all, Maximilian Dude had a theory. And this was a theory. This wasn't confirmed fact. Bandai Namco, if you didn't know, right? They made Smash Brothers for years. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And they're no longer doing it. And he had made the suggestion on a video. I watched his video like 5 times. He got 5 views just from BoomStick because he was talking about Killer Instinct, and I think he's a great content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And he had made mention that Bandai Namco could take it on, and then license the work out to Arc System Works, who makes Guilty Gear, and they make games Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. Which, by the way, Guilty Gear in Game Pass, my God, play it, and Blaze Blue coming soon. They have talent for days. But if you think that the Ed Boon stuff stops. When Mortal Kombat 11 came out, he had put out a tweet, as Ed Boon does.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're familiar with the cast of characters that are available in both Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct, there is an Indian character, which is amazing He found his first appearance was Mortal Kombat 3. Of course, I'm talking about Nightwolf. I love that character. I've used him for years. He's freaking phenomenal. Well, for Killer Instinct, there is an Indian character. It's Chief Thunder. His brother is now in there, who's a DLC, which is freaking awesome. But Chief Thunder is the OG. He was one of the first characters in the original Killer Instinct. And Ed Boon had put out a tweet. I responded to it, as you would expect that I would, that he wanted to make a Killer Instinct Chief Thunder skin for Mortal Kombat 11 for Xbox. It just didn't happen. Like, I mean, seriously, like what more do you need than that?
Yeah.
Look, all I can say is that I hope that this happens. I like I said, let me just catch up some of them are funny super chats that have come in. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you right now, live on the air. If I'm in that, if somehow or another I get into the Xbox showcase, and I'm praying to the gaming gods that I do, and I'm sitting there, and I hear the opening music for this, you're going to hear this voice literally stand up and yell to the top of my lungs, yes, it's happening. I'm going to say it live on the air. It's going to become a meme. I'm telling you right now, get ready. But Gaming Nerd Austria drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, Boom passing out hysterically live on cam. I'm all in. Great show. Keep going. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that very much. We also have Brett Bingham, generous friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, I have a title for the Xbox fighting game Brawlers. Wait a second. He says, okay, so he says he has a title for the Xbox fighting game, X Brawlers Mascots of Xbox. Dude.
Yeah.
Could somebody from marketing hire this man? That is genius, brother. You should probably try and copyright that so Microsoft has to pay you, because I love it. X Brawlers Mascots of Xbox. Holy shit, dude. That is freaking fantastic. I love it. Jacob Novik drops an additional $5 super chat and says, mascot brawler character idea, Halo, Doom, Call of Duty, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Overwatch, WoW, Banjo, Conquer, Sea of Thieves, and every single IP. Look, I hate to gum up this show because I have a whole show already written that I was up super late writing. I'm going to say it because if I don't continue to push the envelope, it's never going to happen. I don't understand, guys and gals in the chat. How is it that in 2023, Microsoft is currently sitting on some of the most pristine and legendary IP that out of anybody's other publisher? Again, you could say what you want about Sony. Yeah, they got Kratos and they got Jack and Daxter, and they have a great lineup. And Nintendo, they're already doing the fighting thing and they're already doing the kart thing, right? It is bugged out to me as a gamer when you have this kind of legendary IP that listen, you can copy a fighting game. WB did it, and it did very well for them. Now, obviously, it's fallen off because, they have some characters that nobody really cares for, but I bought into that. I bought that whole big season pass thing, and I was terrible at it, just like I am at Smash Brothers. My nephew beats the hell out of me, but I'm good at Killer Instinct. And it just really blows my mind how we don't have a character racer and we don't have a character fighter where you can have the likes of a Marcus Phoenix versus Master Chief versus Doom Guy versus Power Armor. I'm just saying it's and even in a fighting game like this, who doesn't want a Doom Guy fatality? Who doesn't want a Marcus Phoenix one where he cuts people in half with a chainsaw? Or I could go on for 3 hours with this. There are three distinct genres or games that could be made for Xbox: a racer, like a Smash Brothers clone, or an actual fighter, which would get guest characters. I just don't understand it. To me, I don't know. I'm not going to throw Microsoft under the bus or anything because they're making lots of games for us, and I got no complaints there. But these are games that should be made. I shouldn't have to be. I put it this way: I'm just a podcaster. And if I'm thinking about this, I'm sure other people are as well. The fact that no one at Microsoft is thinking about this, that's a problem. I'm going to say that right now. That's a problem, and they need to address it. Same thing with Banjo-Kazooie, which we're going to talk about tomorrow as well. Some big stuff happening with that. But listen, let's get into what the thumbnail was. And this is, again, I'm not throwing Metacritic under the bus, okay? I'm not making this a console war, us versus them kind of thing, because we don't do that here.
Hey, Boon.
But I have to ask, yes, sir.
I'm so sorry. There was a couple of super chats that were dropped in right after that.
Oh, okay. Let me get those. We have Jacob Novick drops an additional $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. He says skins, levels, weapons, different armor, and more. Yeah, dude, it's DLC central. You can make a mint out of that, honestly, and I'd buy them all. I'm going to tell you right now. Drawn TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct with all of the Xbox characters, even from Brute Force and Conquer and others. Yeah, I mean, they can go back and do a lot of things with their older IP, which they're not doing, which hopefully when ABK is done, they have a lot of these studios that are not in the salt mines. I'm looking at UK, Asante, of Call of Duty, and they're able to make their own games. It'd be very interesting to see what they attack, what they go for next. They have, like I said, if Toys for Bob becomes first party, and you're not making a kart racer like Crash, but with Xbox characters, then why even bother?
That'd be amazing.
Why even bother at that point? I don't understand. But listen,
sorry about that. I just thought you.
No, sorry. I'm glad you did. Thank you so much for throwing that in there. Let's talk Resident Evil, folks. I'm a Resident Evil stan. Everyone knows. I've beaten every Resident Evil triple-digit times. Resident Evil 2, OG Resident Evil 2, 98. I probably beat 50, 60 times, maybe even 100 times. My favorite game of all time. Love what they did with the remake. Really enjoyed Resident Evil 3 Remake, but it fell for me a little short because they cut so much content out. Like the whole zoo from the original Resident Evil 3 was just gone. It just wasn't there. Same thing with the whole clock tower fight with the Nemesis. Just wasn't there. They did a lot of great things with it. It was gorgeous, but they left out too much. Well, listen, folks. We're talking Resident Evil 4 Remake because that comes out this week, and it's getting rave reviews. It has been confirmed by numerous publications that the best version is the Xbox version, and that's not really a surprise because, to some extent, the hardware is better than the PlayStation 5. It just is. That's just the numbers don't lie, folks. And we knew it was going to be better because D-Batch, who's someone I trust, did the numbers. He ran the numbers for the demo. And the numbers for the demo came out better for Xbox. Now, he got a lot of slack. And if you don't know who D-Batch is, he's on Dealer Gaming's podcast on Tuesdays. And D knows his stuff. That guy is a technical wizard. And he got a lot of crap from the community for saying that the better version was the Xbox. Turns out, he was right. He put out a tweet to confirm that. But I think that the fact that the PlayStation 5 version is sitting at a 93 and the Xbox version is sitting at a 91, you would think, if you're just going based on numbers, that the PlayStation 5 version is better, when in fact that's not the case. And it really does get into the question outside of the game itself, what exactly is going on with the gaming media? I'm slightly confused because, like I said, the numbers as of this morning were 102 reviews, critic reviews from everybody for the PlayStation 5 version versus the Xbox version of 18. I mean, think about that. That's over 5 to 1. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go fuzzy on this. Fuzzy, you have a pretty interesting thought on this.
Yeah.
We're seeing this consistently. And thanks to Crazy Lou looking up the numbers, we learned that HiFi RUSH, literally a perfect game. Like, I don't think I've come across one bug. I don't think I've come across anyone saying that they came across one bug. And yet, as great as that game is, as amazing as that game is from start to finish and in the middle, 54 reviews. That's bonkers to me. That game should have had 200 reviews because it was new, it was fresh, it was from a team that nobody even realized Microsoft even owned, and 54 reviews later, it's come and gone. Am I crazy to suggest that there's something going on here?
No, I think it's kind of. I know we say media bias and people, look at us sideways sometimes, but when these companies offer a review code and the reviewer has a preference of PlayStation, they're going to ask for the PlayStation, review code. I've watched a number of big sites and some of the journalists on those sites, and they always default to the PlayStation version, even when Xbox has the marketing and exports a multi-plat where there's no particular dominant platform as far as marketing. It always seems to default to Sony. Now, part of it I kind of understand with them being the market leader. Yeah, there's going to be more people out there that are going to probably play it on PlayStation possibly. But when it comes to media, I don't know. I get a weird feeling where it's like you would think a media outlet, the bigger ones in particular, like your IGNs, like your VGCs and things like that, would want to review multiple copies or review it on multiple platforms just to see, because as we've seen throughout this year, PC ports have been a little, I won't say underwhelming, but they've been a little under optimized. So you would think that a review site, the bigger ones in particular, would be like, hey, this game runs great on the consoles, maybe a little bit better resolution on this console, a little bit better frame rate on this console, but on PC it has this issue, or the PC is, the premier place to play it type of thing. So you would think they'd want to give you all angles. So that way, if you are a multi-platform person like myself and a lot of us here, you could say, all right, well, if the PC version's so crappy right now, maybe I'll just pick it up on this console, or maybe the PC version is the ultimate experience. Let me go ahead and pick it up on PC and hold off on getting it on console type of thing. But I don't know. I just wish there was not really more what do they call that? Transparency, I guess you could say. But I really do wish that they made the extra effort, especially when it comes to a first party game like HiFi RUSH, where yes, your bigger outlets will go ahead and review it. But then for some place like Metacritic, if you're going to have, it open to, let's say, 200 sites and 150 of them are PlayStation centric, maybe it's time to kind of scale things back to kind of level things off, because if you're having 150 reviews on something versus 50 reviews on something else, the 150 kind of water things down a bit, which maybe Metacritic wants, but you would think in the grand scheme of things, if there's a set number, like let's say, hey, 10 review sites or 25 review sites, and that's the cutoff on either platform kind of thing, I think there would be a little bit better balancing. So that way, especially on multi-plat items, you can make a more, I wouldn't say educated decision, but it outside of preference, if there's like a bug or issue, you can, lean whichever platform you prefer based on, that extra metric type of thing. But yeah, so many of them, like you'll hear them in podcasts, even. And this used to grind my gears, and nothing against Ryan McCafferty personally, but it's like you're one of the lead people on an Xbox podcast, but you spend more time talking about PlayStation either on that podcast or in general. It's like, oh yeah, I finally got the PSVR too. It's like, I mean, hey, I have multiple platforms and Xbox is my preference, but I don't know. I try to talk about them evenly to some extent, except for, letting hey, up front, Xbox is my preferred platform. But the media, the gaming media in particular, it's almost a guarantee unless it says Xbox in the title, and even then you have to sometimes double check things. Unless it says Xbox in the title, assume that it's going to skew slightly in favor or more in favor of PlayStation, hands down. And they just seem to always ask for those codes on that end, or get those review codes, accordingly. And that also kicks into another thing. Whenever they say something bad about a PlayStation game in particular, then they worry about getting blacklisted. And I guess maybe if you didn't put all your eggs in one basket, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But that's a whole nother topic. But I've rambled enough. It's time to get Lou and Dave on this.
No. I mean, you make a lot of great points. It certainly makes you scratch your head, and I think that Crazy Lou, you specifically, I want to go to you next because you brought up the fact that a game like HiFi RUSH saw only 54 reviews. Now I know that there's more than 54 sites. Again, it's one of those things. I'm not going to tell you that you have to play a game on Xbox. What I'm saying is that if the gaming media is supposed to be non-biased, isn't coverage for games on Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation supposed to be even? And when you look at something like Resident Evil 4 Remake, yes, it is a monster IP. It's Capcom at their absolute finest. It's one of the highest reviewed games of the year. That's awesome. But when you see that there's 102 to 18, and then you take into account HiFi RUSH, which is a phenomenal game, makes me wonder what's going to happen when Starfield releases. Is that going to get reviewed by? Because we know that the community is going to give it zeros. We know that the user score is going to be like the lowest in history because people are hating because it's not. It's an exclusive to Xbox, which again, people were. I don't know if you guys saw it. There are people swearing up and down, going. I'm not going to give the guy's name because I don't like him as a content creator. He's all about the fireworks, and then he's no substance, claiming that it's a timed exclusive. I mean, I said in a tweet, how many times do we need to say this? It is an exclusive for Xbox or PC. Buy an Xbox or play on your $5,000 PC that all the PlayStation gamers say that they have. I'm just saying. Crazy Lou, I mean, let's talk about it. These numbers are concerning. Obviously, I'm not going to be the one to tell anyone that you have to play on this system, but if it's supposed to be fair, is it really?
No, it's not, to be honest, because while you guys were talking on the subject, I went and did a little more research. I mean, let's talk about a little bit more about Pentimant, for example. Remember Pentimant came out pretty much the same exact day with God of War. Pentiment only got 55 reviews in Metacritic, yet God of War got 141 reviews.
Wow, nearly 100 times more. Yeah.
That's insane. So basically, you're right. There's something going on there to the media. I don't know what it is, but yes, we have to look at it because, man, it's weird that there are more people reviewing PlayStation games than they're reviewing Xbox games, and even though even giving them high praise, like for example, Resident Evil is a big example. Resident Evil's got 108 reviews, and Xbox got 17 today, so this morning. Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's a big difference. I mean, and I don't get it. I don't know why they always want to give because it's the same game. It's supposed to have the same score. If it's going to get the same score on PlayStation, it should get the same score on Xbox, because either way, it's the same freaking game. I don't understand what's the difference.
Well, what's interesting is that it's been confirmed by numerous publications that the better version is the Xbox version.
Oh, yeah, that's true, though. That's another thing, though, because we've been seeing this whole week since the demo came out that the game works a lot better on the Xbox version, which is true. I mean, we can't lie about that. It looks way better. It's working way better. But yet, everybody reviews on the PS5 are like, oh, yeah, it gets a 93, but then an Xbox, it gets 91, and nobody reviewed it? Huh? What's going on? I mean, that's something I'm scratching my head about, because it's interesting that, like I said, Pentiment, for example, only 55 reviews, and God of War got 141. And when you look at HiFi RUSH, 54 reviews on HiFi RUSH, and I went out. What else did I look for? I went for Horizon Forbidden West. Also got a bunch of reviews too. So it's interesting that subject that you're bringing up, because hey, are they being honest? Are they being sincere? Or is it something that's been going on? Because I'm gonna tell you something though, and this is something I read a lot. I'm talking about a long time ago. This is not now. Sony used to buy reviews back in the day. That was a long time ago. That was like in 2002. And I remember a couple months ago, I don't know who came out with this tweet, but somebody, some big person, I forgot the name, came out with the tweet saying that in order to get a review code, you got to say what they want. They want, you know.
That was Jeff Grubb actually that said that. Yeah,
Yep.
that was Jeff Grubb. He said that in order to get a review code specifically for Sony stuff, it's you have to say what they tell you to say.
No, I
That-
don't think. I don't think it didn't say for Sony though, but he specifically said just for any type of
Oh,
code.
okay. So maybe I got it
Yeah.
wrong. So it wasn't specifically Sony. He was talking about the industry at large.
The industry at large, yes. In order
Now,
to
let me see
get
if
a
I can
code-
find that. Hold on a
Yeah.
second. I'm going to look for it while you talk about it.
Look for that. Yeah. But I remember seeing that, and I was like, "That's interesting, though, because hey, so pretty much all these reviews you see online, you're like, oh, they get all these perfects, but yet you're like, when you play, you're like, wait, this is not what I'm enthusiastic with. You know, this is not what I saw. This is not, you know, because there's a bunch of games that I've gotten that like review bomb. For example, this is a big example. Look at Days Gone. Days Gone got a review bomb, but Days Gone is a good game. It's a great game. Another game that got a pretty bad review was oh man, woo, this is one of my favorite EA games. I forgot. Oh, Dante's Inferno got
That was a great game, by the way.
And that was a great game. That was a great game, and I loved it. I don't know why they literally like massacred that game. That was a good game. But yeah, there's a bunch of games out there that got like a pretty bad score, but actually turned out to be great games. So that is something. When I saw that, I was asking myself, so are these guys paying or giving them or saying, hey, if you in order to get this, you got to say this, or giving them what we say a suitcase from behind the back saying, oh, you got to give positive reviews? Seriously, this is something that has been, you know, going through my mind ever since Jeff Grubb said that tweet out.
Yeah, I'm going to read you his tweet. He was responding to Tom Henderson. This was February 10th, 2023. He says, go ask contacts if publishers ever aim their embargoed reviews at the outlets they think that will get them the highest scores. This isn't some made-up thing. It happens all the time. I can point out to a specific game where I was told exactly what to say to get approval for the code.
Wow.
And of course, Tom Henderson was going back and forth with him. He says, you're missing my point. I know they do, but every time the industry is called out for it, the usual "it's not true" and "we're professional" quotes get thrown around, which is why the hypocrisy is sickening. So Tom Henderson, if you don't know who he is, let me read you his official title. He's the owner of Insider Gaming IG, and he's working on an unannounced project. Yeah, he has 226.9 thousand followers. And yeah, he called out the industry for it. Jeff Grubb responded, and Jeff Grubb said, I read for you live on the air, folks, that he was actually told for a specific review what you had to say, which is why Double Barrel Gaming will not ever do reviews unless I'm just given the code to be given the code. I will not follow any protocol like that. I will give the review. If the game sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks. I don't care. And that's why I don't do reviews, because I'm not going to fall victim of having to be painted into a corner because I have to say something in order to get the code. I buy all my games. I don't need anyone to give me games for free. That's good. I mean, Grant, it's again, I didn't mean it to be skewed this way, but folks, the numbers, you just follow the numbers. Pentiment may not be my game, right? I played it. I played it for, I don't know, maybe about an hour. Not for me, but at least I gave it the old college effort. But in an industry that is quote unquote supposed to be fair, and people like Tom Henderson calling it out for not being fair, it makes you wonder. Web Dave, let's get your hot take on this, brother. Again, Resident Evil 4 is going to be a great game. I don't care where you play it. You play it on PC, it's going to be great.
Yep.
Play it on PS5, it's going to be great. Play it on Xbox, it's going to be fantastic. Wherever you decide to play, enjoy it on your preferred platform. But that's not the question here of whether or not it's going to be a good game. We know it's going to be a good game. It's sitting at a 93 meta and a 91 meta. That says it all. They're calling it a modern day masterpiece by Capcom. They deliver again. I'm starting to see thrown around. But this is is it concerning that that the Xbox version gets 1/5 of the reviews? Kind of strange, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely see your point that you're making, and I agree with you 100%. That it's definitely it doesn't feel right, and but the one thing that I'll say, and it's not a defense of it at all, but it's the market leader, and that's why they want to be the market leader, is PlayStation. There are more PlayStation 4s out there, PlayStation 5s than there are the Series X, Series S right now. Obviously, the sales in the new generation, the current generation, are improving, but they had their ass handed to them last generation, and that is really reflecting in because most places, and I think several different. I think you've even been asked before, hey, if we were going to give you a review code, what would you want it on? What platform would you want it on? You've been asked that before. Now, and I said, obviously, you don't usually review games, and that's cool. But you've done a few, and they're really good. What you have done, just saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries. But the point is that so if their dominant audience viewer is someone from PlayStation, because that's where they're selling the most now, that's definitely a skew on that number, and that's probably why it's more skewed. Harry Balsack in your in chat, I'm gonna call it a couple of his he actually did some pretty good stuff. He said humans follow the money. PlayStation makes websites more money because they get more views and more clicks because as of right now, they're the market leader. And then he also said that more people Google PlayStation related things than they do Xbox because it's business. And he's not wrong. And it's something that can be changed. And that's what Microsoft is working to close the gap, to get a bigger market share, to make themselves more prominent. But I guess my point is you will continue to see this kind of thing happen until they do get the they get the share a little more balanced as far as the marketing goes, as far as the overall buying power, you should say. There was there was one definitely real good super chat talking about what you were talking about with the Starfield review.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it right now. Look, I'm gonna say this. This isn't me, poking fun or throwing the whole entire industry under the bus. I like having adult conversations about things that bug me. This is, again, the numbers don't lie, folks. The numbers are there. I am going to say this, and I know Microsoft does listen. I'm hoping that when the deal goes through, and Sony's no longer has marketing rights for Call of Duty, that someone at Activision, because it's going to be run separately, it's going to be owned by Microsoft, but it's going to continue to run as normal. Someone adds something to the contract that anyone that's going to get a review copy is going to review it on the Xbox version. Otherwise, you're not getting a code. And if that gets out, so what? We're the owners. It's our IP. In 2025, if you don't see the IGNs and the Kotakus and everyone else, I don't care if you have to play the game twice because you want to review it on both. You go ahead and do that. But Xbox is going to have to be the first version because we own it, and you're not getting a code otherwise. I hope that happens. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of like a dick move, but I'm sorry. It's you sometimes you got to be a D-bag. Sorry, not sorry. I guess maybe. I don't know.
Yep, I get you.
Let me catch up on these super chats. We're going to get into the last topic of the show, and that's the Redfall story trailer, which nobody was talking about. I don't know if you saw it. I watched it 5 times. If that doesn't sell the game for you, I don't know what will. I'm going to see if I could load it up and play it for everyone if you missed it.
Oh, it's great.
It just, every time you see this game, it just looks better and better. And we got more information that, not a surprise, scientists caused the vampire outbreak. What a surprise, folks. Scientists doing what they do, and that's caused either zombie outbreaks or vampire outbreaks. Yep. But let me get to the super chats. There's been quite a few of them. First of all, very good friend of the program. Gerald Mack has gifted 5 double barrel gaming memberships. That is awesome, brother. And this is who won. If you didn't know, we have here, let's see, Joanna Dark won. Hey, brother, thanks so much for being a part of today's show, as always. We also have Tony was gifted one. We also have Curry Cosmos got one as well. Gerald Mack also gifted one to Prince Green and Gummy Hernandez. Those are the 5 winners. And I don't do that. He doesn't do that. That's like he gifts them and YouTube just doles them out. And hopefully you'll stay around for, additional support for the channel because, obviously we love the support that comes in because it allows us to give back to the community, which we are going to be doing in a big way in 2023. We also have Kev Jr. 33 drops a very generous $5 super chat. This is pretty interesting. Digital Foundry, who, of course, they're known as the Digital Foundry Station. They said was trying so hard not to tell the truth on Resident Evil 4 PlayStation 5 version, as usual, apologizing. They literally spent the entire segment comparing it to the PlayStation 4 version. Folks, go watch it. There it is on display for you. I don't know what else to say. Stitch 6669 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I finished RE1 without saving. Holy shit, for real? Oh, because I did not know about memory cards. I was 12 then. Yo, that is crazy, dude, that you finished the first game without saving.
Wow.
And did you, when you went to school, because what I used to do is I would, if I was playing something that didn't have a save back in the NES days, I'd leave my console on, shut the TV off, and then you go specifically and tell Mom, don't touch the console. Don't touch the console. It's I can't save the game. And you come back and the cartridge is up, and you're like,
the funny thing is that happened to me too with my PS1. My memory card slots were ruined, so I had to beat Resident Evil 2 without saving. I had to spend all day, and not only that, I had to beat Metal Gear, the Solid from PlayStation 1.
Jesus,
12 hours straight playing that game.
Wow. See, that's a crazy story, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for the super chat as always. He says one of the best horror games I've ever owned. Yeah, Resident Evil for me is by far it's my favorite franchise. It is for me Resident Evil 298, my number one game in all the years I've been gaming. I love that game from start to finish. I know from the back of my head. I beat Hunk and I beat Tofu. I did it all. In Resident Evil 2. Gaming Nerd Austria drops an additional £5 super chat and says Microsoft has marketing problems. Yes, they do. Within the gaming community as well as within gaming media, it needs to work on that to fully compete with Sony. Yeah, they need to be a little bit more nasty, if you will. Listen, change is coming. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing. Hopefully, we'll start to see the market turn a little bit. It's gonna take a lot of years, even after ABK. Microsoft, it's gonna take years for Xbox to overtake Sony. That's why I don't understand why the regulars don't just pass the deal on that, because it's going to be years. It takes a long time to turn the ship around. Look what even though Phil Spencer, since he was we got that big promotion in 2017 and again in 2018. Think about what he did from 2018 to 2023, and he's done a lot. I mean, like a ton of stuff, but it took a long time to turn that ship around. That doesn't happen overnight. Same thing with market leadership. Microsoft is going to have to deliver on first party, which hopefully they will this year. And they have to deliver on big third-party marketed deals, which I don't know if that makes dollars and cents for them. And we'll talk about that in another show. But yeah, you got to start with your first party, and then everything else comes together. We'll see what happens. I'm expecting big things. We also have Jimbo Jangles, good friend of the program, all the way from where is he? He's from the West Coast. Jimbo, thank you so much for being here, brother, and always being generous. He drops a $10 super chat and says, Boom and crew. He's from Colorado. That's right. That's where he's from. He says, Boom and crew, with all this talk about reviews, do you think Starfield will be impacted negatively because it is an Xbox exclusive. Secondly, are any chance that you will do a Starfield review? If Microsoft sends me a code, because they did, they know who I am. I got a code for Gears 5. I did an incredible. Actually, Rod Ferguson thanked me for that review, which is crazy. And I did one for Forza Horizon 5. So I did get review codes for that. If they send me one, I'd be more than happy to do one. That'd be freaking awesome. But yes, I would do a review. And yes, I do think it's going to be negatively impacted because people are going to wear their bias on their sleeves. I mean, it's crazy that you hear Xbox. I'm talking about main media, not like any of the circles that we run in, that are actually still capping for this Starfield on PlayStation. Like, freaking get over it, man. Go buy an effing Xbox already, or try and get one free from Microsoft. You probably could do better there. I mean, it's crazy to me. It's not coming to PlayStation. Tough titty. Microsoft's allowed to have exclusives. Sorry, I don't know what to say. Gerald Mack drops on a generous $5 super chat and says, "Boom, you're the first podcast I started watching." Oh, that's awesome, dude. Thank you. I found through ILP, though. If you could be a part of your growth, I'm in. Yeah, I appreciate all those support, dude. It's beyond words. So thank you so much for that. But let's get into the Redfall trailer. This was put out by the official. Hold on a sec. The official Twitter account of Redfall. It's at Play Redfall. The trailer launched last week, March 16th, and it is just phenomenal looking. I don't know why no one else was talking about this. It got lost in translation because it happened at the middle of the week. I didn't get a chance to talk about any of my shows, so I had to talk about it today. Dave, you said you watched it a couple of times. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, they've had events. They had one in LA, which Colt Eastwood went to, which is dope. They had one in New York that I missed. I didn't even know it was happening. That Cognito from ILP got a chance to go with Sovereign, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
They got a chance to get some behind the scenes play with the game. And every time we see it, Dave, like, May can't get here quick enough. This is going to be one of the big quote unquote bangers, as the kids say. What if anything, what did the trailer do for you?
Well, the hype level, hype meter is just off the chart for this. And I think most people, if you're really looking at it, it's gonna be good, man. You can just tell they put a lot of work into it. If they're in the embargo list, I think just real soon, for the footage and stuff, I think it's within a week or less that the embargo, the list will, Colt and all them, be able to start talking about what they've actually seen and played. So that'll be exciting when that happens. For me, the biggest thing that I'm excited for, and it really just encapsulates that, is that the co-op play, that like you, me, Fuzzy, Crazy Lou, we can all jump in together and we can just go in there mindlessly, just kill and have fun, go on missions. And it's a big, huge open world with lots of different things to do. Different characters design. We can, even have all the same character, but all be able to do different things depending on how we set up our builds. It's so exciting, man. It's going to be so much fun and something different, and it's included in Game Pass, so it's a total win-win all the way around. For us, I'm even going to buy the. Actually, got it pre-ordered, the extra bonus stuff.
I bought that. Yeah, it was $35, right? Like, yes, I bought it already. The minute it went live, I bought it. Yep.
Yeah, same here. So I mean, I'm gonna play it in Game Pass, but then I've also got the bonus stuff too, because why not? I mean, they're giving this to us in Game Pass. I feel like I know I'm going to be playing this a lot when it comes out, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we need to actually record all of us playing, and you can play it on a lunch break special one day when it comes out. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that would actually be again. No, that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely something we should consider, because I like to record as much footage as I can, especially like Halo. I have a ton of Halo stuff that I got to process for it. Definitely looking forward to that. But listen, Fuzzy, let's get your hot take on this, brother. This story trailer.
Mhm.
I mean, it's 3 minutes and 23 seconds of just incredibleness. It really does show off a lot of the characters. Like I said, like if you're a fan of Fallout, I think this game is going to call to you because it has, at least in my opinion, Fuzzy, has bucked the Left 4 Dead comparison. Tenfold over. This game is gorgeous. I mean, it looks amazing. The guns are all going to be different. The characters are all unique in their own way. Some of the things you can do are amazing. There's a stealth element. You go in there, guns blazing. This has a lot of what I loved about Far Cry. Let's talk about it.
Well, for me, this is only because, like, with Division right now and Ubisoft kind of letting it stay on life support, even with the recent update, I think this is going to fill that void for a looter shooter for me in place of Division for the most part. But looking at that trailer, it showed a lot of the key things that I wanted to see. As far as they had briefly touched on it before, where if you level up some of your abilities on your skill tree, not only will they cover for you, but they'll also cover for your co-op players during your playthrough, like where they show them going in stealth, where they pretty much are like invisible or have like a cloaking type of deal to them. Having those types of synergies between the players based on your abilities or skill trees is what I'm really looking forward to. And the whole theory crafting stuff, as far as, different abilities, different weapons, the combos, because they said for like area of AOE stuff or like affect area damage and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to doing all kinds of different like fire and ice kind of combos or things along those lines, because that's what I like to do in a lot of the looter shooters in particular. But the trailer, I like the fact that they gave us a little bit of that backstory about the scientists, going for immortality and
of course,
something
of course
going wrong.
Of course they are.
It's I really wish they well, I know Xbox's Twitter account retweeted it and stuff like that, but I really want to see them start to ramp up the
they should be pushing
things
as hard as they could push. Yeah, I agree. Yep.
But that trailer, my hype level was already through the roof. It basically maintains that, if not increases it a bit more. But yeah, May can't come here soon enough. In the meantime, I'll be definitely playing a lot of Forza Horizon Rally, but I'm definitely looking forward to this, because I looter shooters, that's my jam. I'm looking forward to seeing what types of different combos and builds and things like that we can all run through the vampires with and stuff. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know what? Before I bring in Crazy Lou, listen, I'm gonna drop the trailer for you now with sound. So check it out. Here we go.
They said one drop of my blood could change everything. Free people from sickness and death.
2 hours passed since the procedure. Subject deceased.
It happened while no one was watching, like roots into the earth. Vampires. That's what these monsters became.
All we know so far is that this started with Avon, a company of parasites with a thirst for immortality. Bit by bit, the town was swallowed up. Missing people, dead bodies, cults.
They will come for you in the night and leave you empty.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, things went bloody dark. Cultists call them gods. Unimaginably powerful vampires ruling over Redfall. The Hollow Man Bloody Tom, Miss Whisper, the Black Sun. Gods created by science, but how do we stop them? The only way to find out is to delve into the darkness. Time to take back Redfall.
You can't kill me. I am a nightmare.
Do you see what I created?
I'm the last and the first. I will take everything you have.
I mean, can we say hype meter? I'd like, wow. It's just, let's talk about it, Crazy Lou. I mean, like I said, I like what the way Dave and Fuzzy put it down. If their hype level was already through the roof, this just turned the dial up to 21. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
Man, every time I see it, I just get more hyped and hyped and hyped and hyped up, man. I mean, I'm happy that we're getting a vampire game back. I'm happy that we're getting a good vampire game back because, hey, I miss those type of games, man. I really miss them. And I'm really excited to know about the cults in the game because that's something that's going to be interesting. I mean, you're going to be fighting cults. You're going to be fighting vampires because, hey, it's going to be just everything in that game. Wow. It's going to be freaking insane. I mean, I want to know what type of cults you're going to be facing, the type of vampire bosses. They look interesting. I mean, you got Bloody Tom, you got the Whisper, the Blacks. Isn't it one that was it the Black Sun? I think it was the Black Sun. But yeah, it's interesting. Just everything about that game. And I love the plot too. The plot is always some damn bastard was trying to look for a way to look for immortality or something like that. I love that type of plots. And hey, and if this game does good, I mean, if it gets good scores, can you imagine they decide, hey, let's do a TV series or let's do a movie on this game? I mean, because the way that trailer sounded, it's like it feels like there's gonna be a movie or something gonna come out of that game because man, it looks great. I mean, I'm in love with it. I love the idea of what Fuzzy was talking about, how if you're a player, you use invisibility, the cloak, the other person goes stealth too. All of that stuff is pretty amazing. It just man, really. I just can't wait for its release. I mean, wow, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, May 2nd will be here before you know it. Inside Xbox Game Pass. Now, if you want, folks, and I'm glad Dave had brought this up, if you want the deluxe version, because there's the regular version and there's the deluxe edition. What they're doing, and I think this is brilliant, is if you're going to play it on Game Pass because you pay for your service, why should you buy the game, right? You're paying for your service every month. They give you the ability to buy all of the extra content separately for like $35. That gives you the season pass and everything. Well worth it. You're going to get a ton of unlockables from the minute you load up the game, and that's brilliant. That's one of the great things about having Xbox Game Pass is that not only do you get these games day and date, I would imagine that there's going to be something similar for Starfield and something similar for Motorsport, where play the game here, great, and if you want the deluxe edition content, pay the extra money. I think that's genius, and they're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the extra content, and you're getting the game, for your subscription. I think everybody wins there. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's new episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Obviously, we're going to have you covered for the rest of the week. We have some new information regarding APK that Idle Sloth, the human being, actually just put out. Tomorrow's show is going to be fantastic. The Xbox Factor podcast live 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be covering the Diablo 4 beta. We're going to be covering the fact that Banjo-Kazooie was just named Best Duo in Gaming and why it's time for Microsoft to get off the pot and give us a new Banjo-Kazooie, even if it's a remake of the original, and a bunch of other incredible topics. We also have 2 super chats that came in. Let me just get to the one that just popped in on the socials here. Jerron TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat and says 2 things. One, does it have a third-person option camera? And 2, how many people can play? If you're talking about Redfall, I think it's only first person. I don't think there's a third person. At least I don't think that there's one. And I think up to, was it?
4 people. 4
Yeah,
players.
4 people can play. Yeah, up to 4 people. Or you can play single player, which is how I'm probably going to play it because there's only so much time in a day. That I barely have time for Halo, and which, by the way, I'm just about to hit level 70. My God, I can't stop talking about Halo. It's so freaking good, especially the big team battle one is just phenomenal. But listen, let's get to the outros. And once again, I want to thank everybody for the incredible support through channel membership and the super chats. Oh, you know what? Before we get on out of here, let me see if I have it loaded up and ready to go. You know, I'll drop it on the back end. I got to bring it in. But Dave, sell your brand, brother. Talk about your incredible one-on-one interviews, which you just dropped one today with KY Bob. Right?
I did.
You also did an incredible show yesterday with Retri of Game Pass _Daily. That is the Gamers Council podcast. That happens once every week. Talk about it, brother. Sell your brand.
Dude, thank you so much, Boon, for having me on. I love being here every week, twice a week, being Fuzzy, and of course today with Crazy Lou. But man, it was a good show last night. Had a great time. More people need to show up and hang out with us and talk gaming, because we are ready to talk gaming and get your ideas and your perspective on what you think about the current trends and what's going on in the industry and what your favorite game is and all that kind of stuff is what we like to talk about. So definitely check it out. It's called Gamers Council. It's every Sunday night. It's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, last night's guest, it was great. We had Daniel McGee and we had Infinite Umbra. Both are actually they are working on a new podcast themselves that's going to be releasing probably next month called The Fix, and that actually looking really good. And Infinite's really put a lot of work into getting everything set up for that. So we talked about that. Plus we talked about a lot of other things. Got off on some different. The chat took us in some different directions, so that was cool. Which is that's the whole point of the show. We'll go where you take us. And then of course the interview I did last night with KY Bob that dropped today was really fun too. He's a pretty fascinating cat. You see him in a lot where he's a big supporter of the community, and he's people reading off all their where he's where he supports their channels and stuff. So it's he's a pretty good guy, and he is from Kentucky, just like me. So we got along really well. It's a good one. So, and again, Boom, thank you so much for having me on, man. Love this show.
Well, listen, it's great to have you a part of the show each and every week, brother. Listen, Fuzzy Belvedere, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the best place for everything and anything racing, and where could people find you on social media?
Oh, just want to also thank you for having me on as well. Yeah, definitely enjoy being here with you guys and interacting with everybody in the chat. And also looking forward to this Friday for Breakfast with Boom at 10 a.m. So definitely for those here, check us out on Friday morning, 10 a.m. Right here on this channel. But man, for anybody that wants to hear my rambles, rants, or see some amazing pictures of Forza 7 or Forza Motorsport 7, yes, I know, 6-year-old game, but still looks just as good as ever. Just follow me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find my YouTube, same name, Fuzzy_Belvedere. For some videos, some reviews, and upcoming info for the next motorsport. But thank you so much for everyone joining us, and man, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, brother. And real quick, before we get to the outro for Crazy Lou Gaming, I'm going to run the ad, which I should have done in the middle of the show, but I just got away with what we were talking about. This is the merch that everyone has been asking for. Well, thanks to Sean Labrie, we have a commercial now. Check it out. There you go, folks. And if you head over to Teespring / Double Barrel Gaming, you will definitely find all of the site there. If you go to the website, and if you go to the YouTube channel, it's listed on below. We've just added that over the weekend. And if you type in the code BoomStick in all caps, you get 15% off of your entire order. Crazy Lou Gaming, sell your brand. Talk about the Xbox International podcast and where they can check that out each and every week. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Oh man, you guys can always find me here noonish hanging out with you guys at the Xbox Lunch Break Special, and at Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good morning and do all sorts of crazy stuff, which I'm gonna start opening it up a bit. I'm gonna do more and lots more crazy stuff. And last but not least, you can find me at the Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET with Silent Side for the Big Boom and Sour Blow. We're trying to reach 1,000 guys. We are now in 908.
Oh,
So
come on,
please
folks! There's still
better.
350. Throw that into the chat, brother. Let's get some people subscribed to your channel.
all right. I'll get that soon then. Oh man, but either way though, that's where you can find me, and let's have some fun, man, because we gotta have some more gaming news this week. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I always, you know, the gaming news gods have been kind to podcasters. There's been a lot going on. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much we had almost 500 people here, which is awesome on a Monday morning or Monday in the afternoon. Again, this was, I wasn't sure if the show was going to hit, and it hit. So the more people that tune in, the longer we'll keep doing the Xbox Lunch Break Special. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And for Web Dave, Crazy Lou Gaming, and Fuzzy Belvedere, I want to wish you guys and gals a great day. Have a fantastic week. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.